joining the Navy, I was hoping to join the side of the good guys, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like that thing's just as ghetto as working at your local Walmart or some shit like that.
Cancelled. They deleted our podcast off YouTube yesterday, and I am annoyed. I figured that's how we would start today, with the bullhorn energy of annoyance.
So they took our podcast off of YouTube yesterday, and that's why I brought out the bullhorn. I brought out my Texas hat. I said, this is ridiculous. We got a wonderful guest today. Welcome to the Houston Ensemble podcast. We're here with Willie
McCullen.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Is that the fastest? Is that the record for fastest podcast has been removed off YouTube now?
What was the fastest one? I feel like David Icke was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe.
What about Peter McCullough? Was that? I feel like that was like a week at least.
That was at least a week.
No, that was
maybe.
Maybe it was.
I don't even know.
So this is
No,
the fastest.
I don't think it's this is the longest.
Really?
Yeah, it took 6 months.
Oh shit! I was thinking it was like the next day.
And then you would ask yourself, why would it take so much time? Well, it's because the Scheisse has hit the fan.
It is widely known that the tobacco and diet industries lobby governments with scientific propaganda for years until proven guilty in court. The artificial treatment of our water is the next corporate deception.
For example, virtually every nation in Europe has rejected the use of artificial fluoride. International studies since the 40s have repeatedly shown that endocrine and neurological effects increase after repeated consumption, even at the levels accepted by U.S. government.
Epic Water Filters is the most thorough industry-grade filtration system that Houston Ensemble has ever used. They reduce heavy metals upwards of 99.5%, such as lead and mercury, bacteria like E. coli, and poisons like chromium, nitrate, and fluoride.
Join us in our journey to living a toxin-free life and get your Epic Water Filter using discount code Houston Ensemble lowercase one word. That's Houston Ensemble lowercase one word for 20% off your Epic Water Filter.
In other words, the Houston Methodist big time lawsuit is going on right now between her.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
she's taking them on. And I would say, in terms of pure game theory, it's a very bad sign, poor sign that they are censoring so hard. Because you only would want to silence a person that could ruin you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like a mafia would whack the guy that knows too much.
For sure. They have.
Type of stuff.
But let's quickly give a little background as to what we're talking about. Probably not even going to talk too deeply about what was in the podcast, but number 63 Houston Ensemble podcast with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden got removed on Monday, whatever day it was. Right after, it got removed Tuesday because I posted it Monday because Dr. Mary is in a lawsuit with Houston Methodist and she's suing them for how they treated her, how they let her go in a very weird way. She learned that she was being let go of Houston Methodist, or her license was being taken away, something along those lines, don't quote me, from a Houston Chronicle reporter via a text. They didn't even notify her ahead of time, so that's how she found out.
And for what, though?
It has to do with the V stuff. Not that she isn't, but it has to do with that, and it has to do with how she wanted to treat patients, who she was treating. By the way, at Breathe MD, she's treated up to this date 4,300 people with the sick, and none of them have died based on her protocol. And so that day I saw that she was in court doing like the testifying and all that kind of stuff. And so I posted our podcast with her, tagged Breathe MD, did all this, not all this stuff, but I just tagged her in it. She reposted it. And then the next morning I wake up to it being removed from YouTube. And I'm like, wow, it would make a lot of sense to me if somebody from Houston Methodist was kind of on the lookout. Like if they had a team or a person dedicated to information that's going out about the trial, and then they say, let's try and report that, get that taken off because that podcast made her look so darn good. And then after that, on top of all that, once the podcast was removed, we started getting comments from bot-like channels kind of trying to trash our videos.
Yeah, just literally one account was made yesterday, and it started trashing us.
Like, what's it
Anybody
say?
can go-
Like it was just saying like this is the worst interview I've ever seen. Like the interviews are idiots. They don't even understand the guest. They're totally missing the point, which is a bunch of projection. We totally understand the guest, and in our meta analysis, the guest is being lied to.
For sure.
And what are we referring to? We're referring to. Let's get into it slightly. We'll get into it slightly just because even recently, every single mainstream news channel is reporting that BLM, even more money has been found. Even more money that was unaccounted for has been found being used by members of BLM for other reasons besides what they're saying. What in basic terms that is referred to is as money laundering. You are taking advantage of your position. Now, one or two examples is like you can kind of expect it to happen. I'm not even that mad about it. But it's like every leader seems to be doing that. Now, on top of that, you can connect the fact that Mr. Soros has been heavily implicated, and Mr. Soros is a big-time global elite. He started as a investment banker, then it became a stock trader. He made the biggest short deal in stock trading history when he crashed the British pound. I believe this was in the 70s.
Wow.
He crashed the whole pound.
He crashed other ones as well.
And he's crashed other countries since then. So this is what he does. This is the kind of guy, he says, you know what? I'm not going to just screw a business. Why don't I screw a whole country?
Wow.
So he's like a small-time Rothschild banking wannabe. He wishes he was at the tip of Satan's seat. This is the kind of guy that he is. Okay,
And you know, that reminded me because there was a lot of stuff about Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio and how she was having better dividends than Warren Buffett, as well as.
and show him the British pound thing article too, because I don't want any of these people to be like he's making stuff up. We're gonna fact check every single thing we say, and Willie says. And also, Chad, if you can scooch a little, I'm tired of getting half of my body cut off.
I see your shoulder. It might also be the little strap. I'll edit this part out.
There you go. It's on a freaking Investopedia, which is about as mainstream as it can get. What else do you want from me?
How did George Soros, and we'll just click on the first one. How did George Soros break the Bank of England in Britain? Black Wednesday, which occurred on September 16th, 1992, is now known as the day when speculators broke the pound. This euphemism is used to describe the moment in time where market forces coalesced to force the British government to exit the European exchange rate mechanism by removing its currency from that agreement. Joining the REM was part of Britain's effort to help the unification of the European economies. However, it soon became clear that Britain could not adhere to the agreed upon terms. As a result, the currency of the British pound was removed from the government. That being said...
What a whitewash. Keep going. What about the part where he
Let me go to
freaking shorted it?
George Soros made one of the most audacious trades on that day that was just mentioned in recent times when he bet an enormous sum of money against the British sterling.
There you go.
In the process, he pocketed over $1 billion and brought the Bank of England to its knees.
Wow.
Making $1 billion is by all means no small feat, but to destroy the monetary system of Great Britain in one single day is something altogether.
Dude,
That's insane.
imagine you off one deal you made $1 billion.
If you say you are for George Soros and he's done nothing wrong, you're delusional.
Yeah.
Why defend him?
There's no reason. People will defend rich people because they're rich and they wish
Yeah.
they were rich.
Exactly. I could not imagine making one deal and making $1 billion. Couldn't
Nah, you probably see the only reason he would be able to make that deal is if he had a bunch of information
for sure.
in advance.
Oh yeah.
You can't make I mean, what's the likelihood that you just get lucky and make $1 billion trade?
Nope. I don't even feel like people who win the lotto get that much money.
No. So that's what we're saying here.
And then on top of that, I was talking about Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio. And when I was at this music festival on the island, I was talking to this guy and we brought it up. I was like, we were talking about politics and I forget how it started, but I was saying something to the effect of, well, it's been shown that Nancy Pelosi has had higher dividends than Warren Buffett. I think the percentage that there are the specific terms for it, but the percentage that she got on this one day was 69%, which is way higher than Warren Buffett or I forget who else.
69.
Something like that. I think it was 69 though, or either 69 or 65 or 62. And he was like, "Oh, come on. You really think, how do you know that?" There's a portfolio tracker that tracked her portfolio and tracked the trades. And there are plenty of articles about it. I'll bring it up once I'm done kind of talking. But he's like, so do you think that's wrong? And I'm like, well, as a public servant, I think insider trading is not right. I think it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be really gracious. And as a public servant, she's going to have the no, especially also because of her husband, Paul Pelosi,
Yeah.
who's a huge investment guy. If she knows so much, like what stocks are going to go, what's not going to go, where to put the money quickly in order to make a bunch, because of her position of power, that's not fair.
Yeah. Exactly.
And why are you defending her? Why do these people defend them?
Because they wish they had that money. That's all.
I think that's
Just
ridiculous.
Yeah. What do you got to say about that, man?
I mean, I feel like exactly what you're saying. Like we've all been led to believe like you should make as much money however necessary, you know. So I feel like that's kind of the American dream.
Now imagine if we were making valuable things and then making a lot of money, making more money than ever, but actually there's utility in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's way fucking better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that's what tells me the whole system's fucked from the jump street, because like there are so many cheaper ways to, I don't know, make a living, you know, like where everything is fair. Like it's just it's rigged from the top up. I mean from the top down.
Imagine some of your required classes from middle school were like practical house building, electricity, you know, mechanics, you know, practical wealth financing, you know, 101 type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Have it as the backbone, like PE. So fitness, backbone of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about every other aspect of survival? Right?
Like, what do you mean, like hunting?
Yeah,
Like,
well, yeah. And now I think about it now, like I think about like the kids that were taking like the child rearing classes or like the cooking classes, and I was like, oh, what a bunch of fools! Why would they take those classes? I'm like,
it's so
I should have taken those classes.
Wood shop.
exactly. Yeah, wood shop.
Wood shop?
dude.
Yeah, I should have taken.
Ned's Declassified. I feel like that was on the show. Ned's Declassified. You ever see that
Mm-mm.
on Nickelodeon? That may have
Mm-mm.
been more like for a couple years when I was in
wasn't a
that
big
age group.
fan, yeah.
Mm.
But they would like go to wood shop class every day whenever they had it and literally work with wood.
Yeah.
If you can build a house out of anything, dude, that would be so valuable, dude.
Oh.
Just throw you out in the jungle, just make a fucking house, dude.
If you can make a freaking hoopty from like 1953, if you
Right.
can make that thing run, You're a freaking genius, dude.
Exactly.
I think that's a big thing though that people don't talk about a lot is that we're never taught anything like really useful in school.
Exactly. I bet they teach their people that though.
Because you
right.
know, and what
Yeah.
is it about that aura of well, you fix cars? That's dumb. You're kind of dumb. What is it about that aura? Because you know that exists. Because people will look down at a guy that just went to technical school.
Which is really ridiculous when you think about that.
It is very ridiculous because that dude will probably off the bat, he's guaranteed to make a living.
Exactly.
Off the bat, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. And I think when you're from like an ultra rich family, like one of these elite families, it's no question that you're going to be just knowing what to do. And they'll tell you what to do too.
Exactly.
But another thing from this Nancy Pelosi thing is that she and this is also saying that it's because of her husband, Paul, who owns a venture capital firm. But she outperformed the S&P 500 index by nearly 15% in 2020. In light of her success, young retail investors have devised a strategy to copy her stock market moves to identify long-term winners, except what they're missing out on is the inside knowledge of what laws are being passed, when and why and where.
And 69% because a little birdie who might have shown me the tracker, the Nancy tracker. I didn't see no 69%, dude. I saw egregious numbers. Like it was like beyond 80% accurate.
And it was on Twitter, so I just clicked on this to see like what this is too.
I thought it was.
It got taken down at one point for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's funny. They have Buffett trackers too. That's funny.
That's crazy.
Well, people have been Buffett tracking forever, but yeah.
Because there's a law that Congress people, I just read this, have to be, their trades have to be made public 45 days before it happens. So, and I mean, that's nice, but what average citizen is really looking at Congress people's trading on a daily basis, monitoring. I mean, there'd even be so much that you'd just be like, you can't read all this.
Only the ones that are trying to get out of the matrix.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is a great place to go. Like, how do we get out of the matrix? Let's make the rest of this episode about positive, proactive things you could do. We talked about fixing cars, building a house. What else? Keep going.
Learning how to grow food, learning what food to eat, learning what to do with your water. I know that since I have come back from Washington State on this island there, up in Orcas Island, my hair feels disgusting. And it felt so good there.
Yeah.
Without shampoo all the time. But here I come back and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. No, I know exactly what you're talking about because when we would go out to sea, dude, I'd notice my skin would get more clear, sort of thing. And my hair would be less oily because we're not around all this bullshit, you know?
Boom.
And I think that it's important for people, especially in a city like Houston or probably any major city. I mean, we should also watch some videos of the water in Jackson, Mississippi right now.
Was it bad?
I can't remember if it's Jackson. I'll find it here in a second, but it is like poop water.
Oh, yeah.
It's brown.
Our water is fucking
Our
gross
water
in
is
America,
like
dude.
notably dirty here.
Like
obviously, you're not going to die immediately, but
look at the water in Bahamas, dude. That shit is fucking. We dropped the rat guard by accident. Like literally the guards that you put on heathen lines so rats wouldn't come on board. We accidentally dropped one, dude. You could see that bitch go all the way down to the bottom, dude.
Oh, so you're saying it's clean?
Oh,
it's so clean.
So
Oh,
clean.
yeah. It's so clear.
And it's really clean in Georgia still, where some of my family's at. Where back in when I was there, bro, imagine this, dude. You fucking walk 2.5 minutes outside your house and you're at the beach.
Oh, shit.
Big ass beach. And no one is there, dude. No one for miles.
Oh.
And these are rock beaches, small rocks.
Yeah.
Those are the clearest beaches because there's no sand sediment to mix with the water. So,
wow.
It was just outrageous. So when, there you go.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
And I've seen this in Houston too.
Yeah, I feel like we got some of the nastiest water, dude, in America.
Molly Minta, Mississippi, and I think this is pretty recent. This was posted a day ago.
It's
I'd
like,
seen that video somewhere else, but
yeah, it's like we don't value
Oh.
that sort of thing here.
Oh.
Jesus.
I mean, even the Flint, Michigan thing, when they GM had a car production facility in Flint, and when they realized that there was that much lead in the water, they were seeing that there was corrosion on the car parts, and so they were having to throw away a lot of car parts. And they went to the government and they said, the cars are getting messed up. The government gave them clean water, diverted clean water to them, but not the rest of the city.
Wow.
And when you hear that,
So what do you boil that down to? Reluctance or what? What is that?
I think pure money,
Oh yeah.
Just pure
well,
money.
money, negligence, evil.
Mhm.
For them, it'd be a money thing right off the bat. But
People
then
don't
everything
want
is built into
You
that.
don't want to call something evil because then you'd have to acknowledge what you're facing. But people think that the devil is gonna literally come out like looking like the devil.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
He comes through the form of people's actions
Exactly.
and what happens in your life, because he needs an excuse he needs an exit too.
Mhm.
If he just appeared like that, he would be compromising his own self. He needs to appear in a form that it's like, oh, what? This is not the devil. This is just, a happenstance of the situation. A brilliant example. I was watching the clip, Jim Brewer, Half Baked, brilliant comedian, long-standing comedian, super red-pilled guy. And he was saying that he was writing in his journal a bunch of notes, and then while he was writing these jokes and notes, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna change the world with my notes. I'm gonna change the world with my jokes, and I dare the devil to come and take this journal and mess it up. I dared. So he leaves his hotel, he leaves his journal on the table, he leaves his hotel to get some food. He comes back, and specifically that page and the few pages around it that he wrote that were ripped out of the journal.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Wow.
And then he went on a hunt all over the hotel to find the journal. He found the cleaning lady that went in there, and she said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I thought it was a trash."
Wow.
She said, "I sorry, I didn't know."
What?
She threw it away as trash. So then he found the trash man and traced it. He found a few pages finally.
That's crazy.
Now, if that's true, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's
dude.
true. That is insane.
That makes you want to think about stuff like that.
If that happened to me, that would be all the answers I needed.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, this
Yeah.
shit is real. As
Just
fuck,
right
dude.
then and there, you'd be like, that's too much.
Mhm.
And and it's perfect because that Mexican lady was just like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's the devil right there.
For sure.
That's the
dude.
Family Guy Consuela. or
Yeah,
Queen. I know English. Now we're never gonna get on Saturday Night Live because that's gonna show
Right.
like Shane Gillis when he said
Yeah,
neuters.
cancelme.com. Okay, let's go.
What I was also gonna say is there was one night I was here alone and it was late at night. Well, many nights whenever Sophie was at her festival when I came back, and there was one night I felt like I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, yo, if I see this thing move again, I'm done. And if I came back to a hotel room after I had sworn about some pages being taken out and they were taken out, I think I might have a breakdown.
Real talk.
I think I'd
Start
be like,
praying or
yo.
something. It's like, yo.
I'd be
God.
like, I need a new hotel room. We need to burn some sage up in here. They're like, do you guys have any sage at the front desk? Do you have anything like that? They're
Right.
like, we've got a Febreze magnet
Right.
you can put on the microwave.
Either that or I would be thinking like somebody's like listening in, like there's cameras in the room or some
Yeah.
shit. But still, it's just like that's still scary because it's just like, I don't know. Because you could still turn around and say that's the devil as well. Like, I don't know. To make somebody actually like take action to do something weird like that.
You know, I just realized we kind of didn't introduce you, Willie, like the way I typically give a background. And so Willie McCullen, for those of you who are watching, after this 2-week band that we're on, is an amazing drummer, plays with us all the time, part of the Vanguard Collective, part of the Houston Ensemble, part of the Chad Wesselcamper experience, and all-around great human being, was in the military, lived in New Orleans, has gone to Area 51, has been all over the world. Tell us this. You were in the military, you were in the Navy. What's the weirdest thing that stuck out to you? I'm not expecting aliens or something like that, but just what was the most kind of like poignant thing that stuck out to you being in the Navy?
I guess weirdest thing. I mean, it's probably just how the Navy's ran in general, dude. Like, I don't know. I feel like it was one of those things. Joining the Navy, I was hoping to join the side of the good guys, you know. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like that thing's just as ghetto as working at your local Walmart or some shit like that.
Canceled.
I wish something like paranormal or something weird like happened, because I would seriously like pray. Literally one time I prayed on Half Lookout that like a Loch Ness monster or a fucking UFO or anything weird would happen, dude. I would literally have been the only one to witness it, you know, on Half Lookout.
Whoa.
But I never saw anything like that, dude. Yeah, I guess as far as what's the weirdest thing that's happened, yeah, it's just how the military, how at least the Navy, that's the only branch I could speak for. It's just how it's ran, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a lot of politics for sure, dude. Like, and I feel like we've talked about this too offline. Like, I saw like so many women rank up because they were sleeping with the chief or an officer or whatever, you know, which brought a whole new meaning to this episode. Is probably already gonna get canceled off this information.
So you're saying you saw that one time for the first time, you kind of realized what had happened.
Yeah.
And you were like, wow.
Yeah.
You didn't think that could happen in the military.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's something I've never really thought about, you know. My stepdad, he was also in the Navy for like 9 years, like way before me, and he would always say like women shouldn't be on ships, and it's just like, well, that's really sexist, right? But after experiencing that, it's like I'm gonna have to agree. Or if you do have women on ships, maybe like an all women ship, you know, it's hard to like mix, because it's just like, I mean, we're humans, so we're gonna start fucking.
I don't think people tend to get this point of, it's not saying that women are less than or men are more than or something when you're talking about something like that. When you're saying it based on your personal experience of being in the Navy, being on ships all the time, traversing the globe, all that stuff, being in possible situations that are kind of iffy, and also seeing that something as simple as sex can elevate a person's status when it's not based on merit.
Yep.
You might say, maybe it should be all one sex on one ship, simply because of human nature and our biology and what people want to do. And anybody who denies that is out of their mind.
Exactly.
If you're denying humans' natural instincts and what they always do and typically do, just get out of here.
Yep. Either that or I don't know, because it's like you don't even have to be in that position to realize like that's real, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But even in boot camp, I feel like there wasn't co-ed divisions. At least I feel like while I was in, like I don't believe there were, and I could be wrong about this, girls and guys mixed together in boot camp. That would be insane, dude. Like,
that's interesting too then. Like, if you don't remember that guys and girls were in boot camp together.
Yeah. Definitely not in my division. It was all males. And I saw some all female divisions, but I could be wrong about there being some co-ed one. But it's like, I always wonder how the fuck did that work, you know? Because you go to sleep in just this giant ass room. It's like, there's got to be some fucking going on. Like, there's no way.
Were the girls and guys sleeping together in the room?
That's why I think if there is co-ed, then I mean, I guess they wouldn't necessarily have to sleep together.
But then at the same time, you'd be
I don't know how
like,
that would
isn't
work.
their whole point to treat everybody as equals in the military, guys
what I'm
or
saying.
girls? So then why wouldn't they sleep together?
Exactly.
And if you're deliberately making them not sleep together, that's also saying something, right?
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of saying something under the radar about potential sexual tendencies of men and women.
yeah.
Yeah, what we're supposed to do is pretend that real consequences don't exist. And we're supposed to make believe. We're supposed to make believe because it keeps us on the good side of the political spectrum. Like if you say that a guy is probably more often than not stronger than the average woman, that in of itself will cause an argument. Even though
It's crazy.
everyone knows that.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, you don't know that, huh?
I literally experienced that on the ship for sure. Like
Yeah.
the men we do all the physical work, because
Yeah.
they couldn't lift shit. And it's like we couldn't get mad at them. It's like 4 foot nothing girl weighs 80 pounds. She
Right.
can't lift this shit,
No.
know. So it's like, and there's no paperwork, at least in my division, for them to do. So it's like we'd end up doing all the work where they just sat on the sidelines.
How about something less controversial? The fact that you look at a construction zone right now. I challenge you to find a construction zone that's majority women.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna find that.
There's no way. Or how about people that clean sewers? No females.
Exactly.
Coal mines, no females. Never.
Exactly.
Most of the military, most of the people dead in both world wars, 99% are male.
Exactly.
And people talk about fairness. Well, is that fair? Is that fair that in some countries today, that after World War I and II, that the ratio of men to women is still super skewed because so many men died?
Mm-hmm.
In Armenia today, there's so many more women on average. You can look at this statistics, Wikipedia. Look it up right now. Ratio of men to women. Till today, there are more women in Armenia than men.
Wow. That reminds me of that Patrice O'Neill joke where he's like, men working with women is like a bear working with salmon dipped in honey.
Oh, yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
normally I would eat you, but today, that's some real
funny.
shit, man.
What does it say?
So let's see. Why is it trying to make me go pro on this? Today, as of 2020, it's 88 males per female. But on this graph that I'm seeing, which I can't access, I may have to go to a different website. I'm seeing that in 2008 or something, it's at this all-time low, and it was on a steady decline since, well, it looks like 1960.
So that's what I'm saying. You go to Armenia right now, it's gonna be great pickings, and the Armenian girls are hot. They're hot, dude, and that's Mother Nature, dude.
Oh, I believe that.
That's Mother Nature saying, "Okay, you want all your men to die? Fine."
Right now for 65 and over, which would have been more along that era of time. It's 67 men to 100 women.
Whoa.
So it's like getting close to half.
That's crazy, dude.
And that's more the
It
time
is.
period that you're talking about.
So there you go, dude. I don't spout weird shit. I'm trying to paint a picture here with what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I just don't understand why people can't compartmentalize these things of, it's not, nobody here is saying that one is better than the other
No.
at everything. It's a case-by-case basis, and right now we're happening to be talking about military / whatever, doing physical work, construction work, etc. It's just, we will say women are better at something else or more inclined for something else on a different subject.
For sure.
We're just not talking about that subject right now because that doesn't seem to be the focus of the zeitgeist, and the problem is more about, like men beating down on women in sports when they
Bad.
say there's something else.
Exactly. I feel like when you talk to majority women, though, they're not for women being equal to men. I feel like it's the angry woman that's trying to say that men and women are equal. I don't feel like it's majority.
Willie, You were literally there. Remember that one blonde chick that her and her other friend were talking to us at Ready Room. And just imagine a heavier set looking lady and then a blonde lady.
This sounds familiar.
Who said she was a Scorpio, remember? And then she invited.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
So I swear you were there. She said who she was looking at, whatever. She's like, we were talking. She's like, I like more masculine men. I think men should be more masculine.
That's right. I remember this
I
conversation.
I think it makes more sense that men are more masculine, and then that way I can be more feminine.
It does.
It's been a long time since I heard the other side say this.
Right.
And she was a little drunk, so I hope I feel like that means that she was being honest, you know. But I think that was her subconscious saying the truth of the matter, was that as a woman, she feels like it suits the dynamic of at least heterosexuals, at least them, that the man acts more like a man and the woman acts like a. So what's so bad about that? Because I can't bear a child.
I'm not sure.
You know, I'm not over here like, I was, I'm not having any weird thoughts about that. I don't think I'm inferior or more lucky than a woman.
It's like you have great respect for it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you know that you can't do that. It's an amazing feat and we need it.
Nobody can make a child feel loved like a woman, like the
Exactly.
mother can.
Exactly.
So she has a freakishly strong impact on the psychological well-being of the child. That if we sunk into, and then the man sunk into his masculinity, I feel like there would just be more goodness and what word am I looking for?
Balance.
Yeah.
All kinds of mental health, physical health. I mean, it would just be incredible repercussions.
Well, that's why I don't understand why people. I think that there's so much imbalance today. That's why there's the whole idea of the yin and yang. It's not there for no reason. It's like you need something to equalize everything. You need, if you have all these insane macho men,
Just dominating everything.
dominating each other, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to work out. If you've all these insane women in the same right doing the same thing, it's not going to work out. If you have, an equally good man and an equally good woman, and they come together and they have like-minded views and they understand that each one is more inclined for certain things and they play to their strengths, you're starting to look at balance there.
Exactly.
And why is that? Why does that almost feel like bad to say?
I think that's the evil, dude, that we're describing, that wants to throw the balance off. You know, it's if we can't even decide whether you're a boy or a girl, it's like how do we decide anything else if we can't decide on basic principles like that, dude?
And then
it's just anatomy.
In another version of yin and yang, in the black part there's a little white circle, and in the white part there's a little black circle, and that's showing that in the masculine there's a touch of feminine, and in the feminine there's a touch of masculine. It's further balancing the whole thing. It's adding more information.
It's the checks
to the
and
balance.
Yeah, I want to go back to Jim Brewer because he's a comedian and he has like funny ways of explaining what we're talking about. So if you're a 12-year-old, right, you think about a 12-year-old. If your 12-year-old comes at you and says, you know what, I feel weird about my weenie. I don't know what to do with it. My weenie's always there. Like I'm trying to play with it. It doesn't work sometimes. And then
Smoker.
And then of course the mom is like, well, sweetie, why don't we just get rid of it?
Right.
We'll just get it right off for you. And they find the nearest clinic and it's all subsidized because it's a children's clinic, and of course they're doing it for free. Which is so great, right? So then a few weeks later, your 12-year-old boy doesn't have his genitals anymore. How's that sound? Does that sound good to you? Because a 12-year-old kid, of course, is so responsible and conscious and aware,
Right.
and really responsible over his own agency and actions that he knows exactly what's going on, right?
Right.
So if he has a weird problem with his DD, then we just need to go and just go.
Or even change, if they don't go to that part, they change the child's entire worldview. They say, oh, we will make you a she. We will put you in the dresses. And again, we're just dealing realistically about this subject.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying anybody is, bad or well, let me not even say that, but you have to deal realistically about it. You got to think critically about it, and you have to see that there are consequences. And I thought somebody made an interesting point, and this gets really real. But somebody said, why is it illegal to have sex with children? Give me a good argument that's why it's odd or why it's illegal or why we shouldn't have sex with children.
Wow.
I have a great answer.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many answers for that.
And we'll just say one main one is that they don't understand consequences like we understand them better today.
Exactly.
Because I can for sure tell you I understand consequences better today than I did when I was 18.
And what is the consequence of a child getting raped?
Many.
There's that's why that question is so sinister, because I'm assuming who asked that question?
I think it was Louis C.K. when he was talking about why it's not good.
Right. Well, I'm sure Louis C.K. would have many good answers for that, because I feel like Louis C.K. is very self-aware. But it's like, not only the reason why that's a hard question to answer isn't because there isn't an answer, it's because there's so many answers. And it just comes at you all at once. Well, the implications are the child is going to be psychologically so messed up that it will have no healthy relationships, and the entire life will come crashing down. They can turn into any darkness. They can turn to drugs. They can turn into doing the same kind of pedophilia. They can become criminals. They can become murderers. They can become totally dysfunctional in the society and cause havoc to other people.
How about a non-verbal answer?
Yeah.
The majority of people, 99%, 98%, whatever it would be, intrinsically know not to do that. You don't see now, in earlier history, maybe younger men were trying to mate with 15, 14. That's obviously young for today's standards. Not recommending that one bit. But all I'm saying is that was a mating thing when the technology was a lot lower. But it's not like they were going to
And life
11,
expectancy was
lower. And life expectancy.
And child rearing for older women was lower.
Right. And they're going to most likely, a lot of them would die after bearing a child immediately. And so they're going off of that based on that. But they weren't going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We've made totally reasonable adjustments according to how society has progressed. And we need to acknowledge that and not go backwards. We were doing good. We were doing good. We were awakening people to healthier lifestyles, to exercise, to cleaner foods, to the idea that government can be improved, to the idea that children can be reared better, and that, we were doing good. And now there are so many forces trying to ruin that.
And here's another topic for that, what I was just saying. They were probably in some ways more mature at an earlier age compared to us, because they had to literally fend for their lives all the time. They had to go find food. They had to defend. They had to take care of, babies, all this stuff. And so they have maybe a different mental, natural maturity.
For sure.
Dude.
Yeah.
just in my dad's lifetime, by the time he was 15, dude, he had to be a man, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It was
Our
over.
parents went
Get
hard.
on with it.
Yeah. No, we really are bitches.
But in 15, right now, in 15, you don't know what you're doing in your life. You have no skills.
Exactly.
You're pretty much guaranteed to be brainwashed if you're consuming the mainstream media.
Exactly.
You don't know, up, down. You probably don't even know who you are. You're changing your name every damn minute.
They're snipping our nuts, dude. Everything's been watered down.
you're just being fed a script about what is knowledge. You're never actually having experiential knowledge like we talked about. Some are, of course. Some are. But not from school right now. And I mean, even when we are looking back at school, like we said earlier, we didn't learn anything that was ultra productive like we need today. We never had a TurboTax class that said, this is the way to do it. This is how you should do it.
And it's designed that way. They know what they're doing.
It boggles my mind that more people, even teachers, don't ask more questions about that or say, there's like a lot more here that we could talk about, or I have a lot of practical stuff that I could teach you. And also, but then I realized as I'm getting older that I'm seeing people who are our age that are quote unquote teachers in school or something. And I'm like, you don't know anything. You don't know anything about anything.
Oh, they're handed a curriculum, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to stray from that. I'm sure of that.
Right. And then, of course, you get audited in your class. I remember when I was in school and people would come and watch the teacher and everybody would kind of be a little more on good behavior, making sure the teacher's doing well. Be like, well, answer questions. Stuff like that. I mean, that would be stressful. And then there's so many teachers today that are just saying, if you have some differing opinion than what all the other teachers have or what the school has in general, it's not going to look good for you.
Yeah.
Project Veritas released a lot of videos too recently where they're, hidden cam with certain principals, superintendents, teachers, and they are all pushing a specific agenda based on their own ideology.
Show those clips.
Wow.
Now, somebody's going to come and they're going to say, well, Veritas is super right-wing and they support Trump. Guess what? I don't like any of these so-called presidents. You think I care about Orange Man or Dementia Man? I don't care. Neither one of them. And we can get into this later. What is two-party system? What is right-wing, left-wing?
Let's go
Illusions.
This guy. I think this is a principal from...
of this video is the assistant principal here at the Coscob Elementary School. Greenwich's first selectman telling me that that man has been placed on administrative leave, and this video is getting reaction from local leaders all across Connecticut. A Greenwich assistant principal under fire after a video appears to show him discussing discriminatory hiring practices at his job at Coscob Elementary School.
So then what do you do with the Catholics? If you find out someone is Catholic, then what?
Jeremy Boland is at the center of the undercover video released by Project Veritas, a nonprofit enterprise known for controversial undercover reporting through hidden cameras. The 12-minute video appears to show Boland discussing not wanting to hire candidates who are conservative, Catholic, or of a certain age.
I'm hoping the more progressive teachers are actually more savvy about delivering a democratic message.
Greenwich's first selectman says he's demanding answers.
I've called for...
We should go to, I should have just gone to the Project Veritas website, but even there, the assistant principal is saying, we're not going to hire somebody who's Catholic because we assume they're going to be conservative. Would they say that about any other religion? If they said that about Judaism, think about what would happen. Think about the ACLU coming at them.
Yeah, they have no right to prosecute anything. Now, funnily enough, I think all religions need to look at themselves in the mirror and figure out something. But still, you can't be saying that as a superintendent or a principal of a school. There's no way you can be like, you know what? No Catholics. No Catholics in my school.
That's pretty crazy.
Well, there's other stuff I was hearing him say. He was going way deeper.
It's a 12-minute, it's a 12-minute video. I mean, here, let's just watch some of the actual video.
Oh, so then what do you do with the Catholics? If you find out someone is Catholic, then what?
Teaching them how to think. That's it. Doesn't matter what they think about it. If they think about it in a logical, progressive way, that becomes their habit.
So you kind of gear them to think in a more liberal way.
Believe me, I'm hoping the more progressive teachers are actually more savvy about delivering a democratic message without really ever mentioning politics. It's subtle. They'll never say, oh, this is a liberal or a democratic way of doing this. They'll just make that the norm. And this is how we handle things. It's subtle.
And that's how you get away
It's
with
subtle.
it. And how do you make sure the parents don't find out?
They can find out, so long as you never mention the politics.
And then later down the line, you're going to vote Democrat, and you will have done a great service to our country.
Greenwich, Connecticut is one of.
How much more damning does it get?
Mm-hmm. My man said it's subtle.
I mean, we had somebody comment on an Instagram story the other day that talked about Project Veritas.
Yeah.
That's a person we know and does a good, decent service to the music community. And it was just saying that Project Veritas is a lying organization. And, you know, I'm weary of every organization. I've thought about Project Veritas and I've looked into it a bit, but even still, they're not. But we're talking about this video right here, and we're talking about how people are pushing certain ideologies in school in a way that's meant to be secretive.
Mm-hmm.
How do you defend that?
Well, people don't have an actual defense for that. That's what they use red herring. Like they support the other side. Trump. They'll bring up the orange man and other things. Because if you actually discuss the merits of the actual video, it's like it's unacceptable that anybody would have that kind of agenda publicly. And I will say this: the arrogance of these individuals that they go on these Tinder dates with these undercover people. You know, and that they just say it all out loud like that. It shows that they don't really believe in what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's more about the brownie points they think they're receiving.
Exactly.
Because they think they're on the winning side.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't understand is that when you collapse the society and you demoralize them and you make them brainwashed idiots, your environment is going to come collapsing around you. And you will start eating shit like everybody else. And at the end of that venture, the elite, your supervisors, they're going to throw you to the dogs. Because you know too much and you've did all the work for them. You're no longer useful. Exactly. That's how it works in a regime takeover.
Let's watch another clip from this. Seems like there was a little more.
You got a nice hairline for your age.
Looks great.
And your skin looks great.
Nah.
Whatever.
Hair, good. He's got that little he's got that little gel.
You got to be very specific about the questions. So I've developed a set of questions that I use for almost all my interviews. And it's all leading them to tell a story.
So then what do you do with them? Like if they're applying for a job?
You interview them and you call them in a few days and say, sorry, we moved forward with another candidate.
So, like, you would...
I haven't hired one yet.
And would you ever, you think?
I don't think so. It's just that stuck mindset. I need a growth mindset.
If anybody is just listening to it, they're saying they have never hired a conservative and he doesn't plan on it.
Is he on it? Is he on a date right now? Is that how they got this?
Probably what this is.
Most likely, because typically
you can tell by the back of that lady, she's pretty cute.
There you go. Yeah, typically they get people on Tinder dates or fake dates.
I'm thinking about it. I think one of the questions that I might start including is something about transgender studies. Students that are effective, was it non-binary?
Yeah.
If you end up with a student who's non-binary, tell me how you approach this too. That's a good question.
So what's the correct answer to that?
You treat the student with respect. They're to educate that student. They get to choose however they want to identify. I'm there to support them.
Right, and if someone gives the opposite answer and they're in support of, or they're not in support of transgender.
Yeah. So if you get somebody who's hardcore religious or hardcore conservative, they would probably say something detrimental to the event. I don't think kids
Because we didn't have enough knowledge to make decisions.
If people knew that you like didn't hire,
You see what he did there?
We're out.
It's conservative for you to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bad.
This guy's so plugged in, dude.
Yeah, he's, again, great hair, great skin. You got great teeth.
It's like, and they're on multiple dates too.
Oh, I
That's
love
wild. I think, yeah, because the outfit's changed. It's long game.
It's so, you know, that this is interesting because, you know, how do you get a man to reveal his stupidity to you? You send a beautiful woman in
Yeah,
front
it's
of
like through a woman.
Yeah.
That's
So
the devil
this
right there.
individual right here,
How long game do they go?
yeah, yeah, this guy right here is not smart. I would not be saying this out loud to anybody.
Fuck no.
And it's not like
Yeah, especially a random date.
it's not gonna
Kind
get
of
you laid, dude.
delicate information.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's
So-
trying. It's
so
like
they're
he's trying to
idiots.
play his ego.
Yes.
Well, he is.
They're
There's no
totally
question.
consumed by this power trip they're on. That, oh, if I have all these criterion tenets that I can control people's employment over, you know, that's so cool. It's pathetic.
Yeah, it's like you're an assistant principal, okay?
Right. It's like, calm down,
Easy.
bro.
That's why I like the school that I teach at. Not even gonna say it because they're cool. Hopefully this wouldn't get in the way of that. But, you know, they're like legitimate people who just hire the best of the best. And it seems to me, based on knowing the other teachers in there and knowing what they think, that they're not like this.
Yeah.
They do have some sort of appearance. Like, you know, I think every major organization or every, you know, a school or something like that would want to be like, you're going to want to be here.
Yeah.
But based on my experience there and based on me knowing other teachers there, it doesn't seem like they have an agenda like this, which I appreciate.
You got to find at least a private school that's on that level.
They have a religious agenda, but that's because it's a religious school.
Yeah, you got to have you either go on, like, look, if you're going to have a kid, dude, I don't know about these public schools no more.
No.
I don't think so. And even these private schools, you got to be careful. You got to make sure it's a good one if you're going to spend all that money, dude. But, I mean, I'm saying, like, parents need to be smart to make smart kids.
If it hasn't changed, I think the price to go to the school that I'm talking about, where I'm at, is $36,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's
a lot.
ridiculous.
That's a lot, dude.
I went to a private high school, private Jesuit high school, all boys, and I think it was $9,000.
Oh wow!
But I only went for a year and a half, or sorry, $7,000, and that's a lot as is. But to think $36,000,
that is pretty crazy. It's a huge difference. Yeah.
And then there are ones in other states. Think of like the really uppity northern states, maybe somewhere like Vermont. I know there are boarding schools in Vermont,
Yeah.
Rhode Island, Delaware, Connecticut.
How much do you think those are?
50.
Wow.
Especially if it's a boarding school or something like that.
I feel like I would want to homeschool my kids, but still, you want them to be social though too. So like, put them in like. There's so many.
I know that
outlets,
people
though.
always say that, and I want that too. But I think if you do it well,
Yeah.
if you're not a weirdo parent,
Yeah.
keeping them inside,
Exactly.
because a lot of, I feel like back in the day, a lot of parents who were homeschooling, maybe they were a little more just odd or something, and then, or maybe germophobic or
For
something, be
sure.
like, you're going to stay inside all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they're not going to be socialized. But if you're cool and you have if you're a cool parent
Yeah.
and you know that you need your child to be socialized, but you're worried more about the curriculum, you're going to find the way to do that. You're going to make them get into sports.
Exactly.
You're going to help them find their passion.
Yep.
They're going to get connected in that. I also think it's kind of important, based on personal experience and then obviously a lot of other people's experience, to be pretty involved as a kid. It's tiring when you got to go to school, you got to go to football practice, you got to do homework, maybe you got to practice a little music.
Yeah.
That's tiring. Then you got to wake up, do it all over again.
It's so good for them though. I
It's
feel
good.
like those are the most balanced kids I see, like
Mhm.
Group's kids, Dr.
Mhm.
Group. Yep. Because they get homeschooled, but he has them in so many other things. Like they don't miss like the social aspect of it. And those
Right.
kids are like totally advanced in comparison to what I'm normally.
They seem
doing.
like alien kids.
Yeah,
That's what I want to see. I want to see kids that are so impressive that adults feel dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's a sign of true progress.
Yeah, they're hip to how the system is actually running, dude. It's
Yeah.
like it's so cool. Yeah, the stuff that he feeds them.
It'll be curious to see how they move forward in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also think about how much do you want to expose a child to the evils of this earth?
Yeah, I don't feel like
Early.
and I don't think he goes so far into that, but at the same time, he like, you know,
He makes them aware to an extent. I'm
Yeah.
sure he doesn't go like
oh yeah,
so disgustingly deep.
yeah. I'm sure I do. I'm sure a lot of that information is gonna click later when they're older and they process and they just
Yeah,
deal
yeah.
with the real world. You know, I'm sure
I
about
felt that there was a weird like cranial expansion in my own brain like after 25. Like I thought right at 25 I was like, okay, I guess this is what I have to work with. Like this is my brain.
Mhm.
And then it all like something else unlocked. And then I mean, you look at neurology, and there is a point where they say, I believe, like the frontal cortex of the male brain isn't really ripe until
Yeah.
after 25.
Yeah.
And for women, it's like 20 or even before that.
Oh wow.
Interestingly enough, but there's a lot to that. But
See, I'm coming up on
Survival
that.
instinct.
I'm coming up on that right here. That 25.
yeah, no, oh yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
frightening.
That there's a big thing that happens, and it's literally like the last genetic development is occurring.
Mm.
Your final growth spurt is occurring at 25.
It's crazy. Yeah, I feel like it's gotten pushed back a little bit further because I feel like when I was in college, it was like 23. They said that's when your brain.
I feel like I heard it at a younger
Really?
age
Yeah.
a while ago too.
Mhm.
So
It's gonna keep getting pushed back. They're gonna be like, you know what?
Mhm.
It's
You're not
50
fully developed until you're 80, so let us just
Right.
take care of you.
That's a good point.
Don't do anything.
Yeah.
You're not fully formed yet.
Right. I was just thinking about this. Like, so how real do we know that is? You know what I'm saying?
That's
Well,
the right.
I was saying purely experience, but that also has a lot to do with just living life. Because you can learn so many lessons. I learned a bunch of lessons young. You know, you can learn some lessons young, some lessons later.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could be fully evolved at like 12, depending on what's happened to you.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying earlier, where
Mhm.
back in the day when they had to like survive all the time
Mhm.
and figure out life very quickly,
Yep.
they're gonna be more mature.
Yep.
It might even affect how the way that their brain is formed. And
Well,
what I
yeah.
mean, like the neurons and the pathways and all that
Mhm.
stuff, how we've got that plasticity in us.
Well, let me make that distinction. Is that I'm not even saying that I became more an adult. I'm saying that it felt like I was able to piece my own knowledge together better
I feel
and make
that.
sense of what is around me.
Yeah.
I couldn't put things in words until fucking recently, dude. Like I couldn't even
I feel that.
you know, I couldn't fit into words what I was even feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. No, that
Mhm.
makes sense. Yeah. Totally makes sense.
Let's take a break.
Yeah, dude. I was about to say that's crazy, dude.
Good. Do you want Willie to say it, or are you gonna?
I
say
want
it?
Willie to talk about
the 8 feet.
the 8 feet. Tell us.
It's crazy. Yeah. I feel like throughout COVID, I've been on a lot of dates. Because I feel like, and statistically, I saw that like online dating has gone up since COVID, which makes sense. Everybody's on house arrest or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, one girl, I won't say her name. She literally traveled with a tape measure and measured out 8 feet, and I couldn't come any closer than 8 feet. Like that's how real it was in her world. She would also make me wash my hands every time I came in, like immediately. Like she was anal about it. Mhm. Like little stuff like that. Like it was like full on. I don't know, it's just crazy. And I feel like even before I did the spit test, like I broke that rule a couple of times, and it was okay then, right? You know, it's like it's a convenient.
She's got to bring you
If
back
there's
up
enough,
on that.
yeah, if there's enough emotion in a setting,
Yeah.
they're willing to kind of forego some of the stuff.
Exactly. exactly.
You're like, this is the one time we're gonna do it. It's like, well, you didn't say that every other one time.
Exactly.
Well, I was really feeling it.
Yeah, and I mean, it may be one of those things because I'm a guy, but I feel like I've noticed women taking advantage of that way more. The whole, I don't want to say the word.
Now, add that little bit about how the guy was trying to approach y'all. Y'all are having some fun.
Oh yeah.
And then she
At
told
the
him
gig.
she told him to buzz off.
At the gig, the older guy who was approaching.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah. So I just played a gig, and an older gentleman approached me and just wanted to thank me for sharing the music, and I feel like she used it again. She used it for her convenience. And yeah, I guess he was diseased in that moment, and she wanted him to go away. But I really feel like it was just about her.
Was he diseased?
No, no. I mean, I have no way of actually knowing that. But there's, no.
So
I'm sure
she
he
was just telling him to buzz off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool. Well, that's very nice of him. Yeah, go to my video.
What's it called? I typed in Houston Ensemble Klaus Schwab.
Who is
Klaus Schwab?
Well, yeah. I mean, Houston Ensemble would have been
Nazi.
I was just seeing if I could find it fast, but there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You take that.
Should I start it?
Yeah, you can start. But what video? You should go to like the middle and see. I should have done the timestamps on this stuff. No, forget. Go keep going after that. Yeah, that was good. Go click on that.
Okay.
To show you the dislike ratio.
Back when YouTube had dislikes.
World Government
Right.
Summit. I think this is in Saudi Arabia or Dubai. Where is this? You'll see all the kings and princes here. Just real quick.
And many of the things I talked about were considered to be fiction, far away in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, the future is already here.
Well, when you're controlling the events of the globe and pushing your agenda, it's kind of like self-fulfilled prophecy a little bit, isn't it? Yeah.
The future has begun. Why this fourth industrial revolution is so crucial, so overwhelming in terms of the changes it will bring to us. 4 differences. The first one is the speed. The fourth revolution is not coming like the waves in the ocean, small waves. It's coming like a tsunami. Second difference is it's not just one breakthrough. It's a combination of many breakthroughs at the same time. In the book, which is available to you on the fourth industrial revolution, I mentioned 23 different breakthroughs.
23.
Like the Internet of Things, like brain research. And I could go on and on. Of course, drones, robots, artificial intelligence. The third difference is this technological revolution does not bring just new products to us or services. It changes the systems. So this revolution changes all the systems, how we consume, how we produce, how we organize our supply chain. And this leads me to the fourth difference of this technological revolution. It changes not only what we are doing, it changes us. Because it's a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological spheres. It's an integration of those spheres. Just think of sensors planted in our brains.
There you go again. So he wants to change how we buy, how we.
Wow, I was wondering. I didn't actually see this clip. I was wondering where it was gonna get to. I'm like, dang.
He said all
That's
that.
bold.
World Government Summit.
Bro, this is endless. They talk about this stuff constantly. Go to your Telegram.
Just
when I use the word New World Order and anybody uses that word, it's used in jest sometimes. Go to the last one.
One could say World Government
Do you
Summit.
see? Is there a BitChute link somewhere there? No BitChute link?
Hold on.
Oof.
That's nature.
Yeah, the symbolism in the wordplay is real, dude.
Here, I'm going to just send you this real quick, chat. And have at thee. It's a brief compilation of the usage of this word in context of what they are actually talking about.
Hold on. Let me open it in the browser. I thought it was just so...
Now notice he leaves the best one for last, okay? Because the whole reason his little world is going to work is because... Go ahead, just play that.
Of World Government Summit here at Dubai Expo, and the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
We are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new accounting is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. And the question is, will that new system of digital money and digital accounting accommodate the competing needs of the citizens of all these locations so that every human being has a chance to have a better life?
Belgium allows, as of today, to travel with a certificate, and they issue these certificates. And here is mine. So everyone who is fully vaccinated or tested negative or has recovered from COVID can get one.
The data is not what you read and who you meet and what you buy, it's what's happening inside your body. Because this is the key for getting to know people better than they know themselves. We don't have to wait until Christ's second coming in order to overcome death. A couple of geeks in a laboratory can do it, if you give them enough time and money.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your answers. Is it imaginable?
All the religious groups are against me because I'm talking about population. They want more souls. I want less on the planet.
It's weird.
We are basically learning to produce bodies and minds. Once you know how to produce bodies and brains and minds, so cheap labor in Africa or South Asia or wherever, it simply counts for nothing. And again, I think that the biggest question maybe in economics and politics of the coming decades will be what to do with all these useless people. The problem is boredom. And what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless? My best guess at present is a combination of cards and computer games.
Oh my god.
Here we go. Oh yeah, Pokemon Go, dude. Wow.
Yep. Wow.
Straight up.
Wow. See, why couldn't Joe Rogan have played that for Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah. He don't
Now,
wanna
he
get
probably
fired.
But he probably also hasn't even seen this. Like, I don't think a lot of people have seen that ad via the World Economic
that
Forum.
part where he talked about useless people, that really pissed me off because there was literature from decades ago that has since been banned all over the world. You can't find this book anymore. I'm not going to talk about it because it'll get this video banned. That's how banned this book is.
Damn.
And it talks about a sect of essentially technocratic elites who view most people as useless
Mhm.
and that they want to get rid of them through technology. And that book is one of the most banned books on the planet. So why is it the most banned book on the planet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy talks about it in front of a television screen.
Blade Runner, here we come.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the problem is the World Economic Forum has an instrumental position in world affairs.
Mm-hmm.
If this was some sort of like $1 million venture capitalist kind of firm that was talking about some crazy stuff, I'd still be worried, but not as much as I'm worried because they literally control governments.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, it just really stuck out to me that it's called World Government Summit.
Yeah.
And it's just like that.
Are we ready for the new world order?
It's weird. It's weird that you'd think that they would even shy away from saying that in order not to fuel the fire of any theories.
They need to normalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 5 years, if they keep saying this stuff over and over again, people are like, yeah, New World Order. What's the big deal? Yeah.
Exactly.
I went to the New World Order Cafe. They have great tea over there.
Yep. It was the same thing with terrorism, dude. They just
Oolong
kept saying
tea.
terrorism
Yeah.
all over the news, dude.
And they're still saying it today. I saw an FBI article about terrorism threats, and one of the symbols on their document was the "Don't Tread on Me" flag with the snake.
Wow.
And it's like I get what you're getting at, but no, not actually.
Yeah. They're plugging it, dude.
And then if you just keep taking everything that people use, or like, I always thought this, this thing, like this symbol.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm not flashing it like that. This was a game to me for my entire life.
No,
When
I remember
people
that.
will
Mhm.
put it down on the ground.
Yep.
It's a very dumb game.
Yep.
Just simple, like funny little game. I had never, ever in my whole life heard of it being called a white power symbol. And when I saw that photo that was of these big white, like Mississippi backwoods looking guys all doing that, but it was on their thigh, kind of similar to, how the game is. I honestly thought they could be silly enough. Either they could be using it for white power, or what I think is a closer bet is that they could be all extremely, extremely silly and be doing that as a joke in their photo for whoever looks at the photo is looking at the symbol.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb either way, but it's like, come on.
Or they could all be Masons.
Or they could all be Masons. But I feel like
I'll send you a little video here playing a second. Yeah, they could all be something for sure. Yeah, symbols, instrument. The point is this: the elite do not have our best interests in mind. They want to make us into cattle.
Exactly. They've been caught so many times.
The reason why it's now is the time to talk about it is because they've already tested their big attempt. It was called The Great Reset COVID-19, which is a book on Amazon by the guy Klaus. So they're not quiet about it. They're not even secretive about it. They want to normalize this new world. And it's working on a lot of people because they're just progressively going along with it.
Yep. Exactly. And it's like, I feel like if you were to take them to court, they would say that. It's like, dude, I put out a book. It's on Amazon.
Right.
I laid out the whole plan,
Right.
you know? So in their defense, they're just saying
That's
it all
exactly
wrong.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, make it totally public and then just make it sound nice.
Exactly.
Where, you know, if the metaverse thing says you're going to have to, the children are going to be deeply immersed in the game. Thus, to keep them safe, the parents need to be also very aware of how metaverse works, and they need to be informed and they need to use metaverse, and that's attaching them to it.
Right. Translation, everybody get into the metaverse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because they would run into the problem originally of, well, the older people, you know, they're not going to want to do it, but we need everybody to do it. And so that's why you pin it on, you know, most people have kids and the kids being in it. Or even guardians of the children.
That's
if
really
they're not
genius
parents.
from their point of view, dude. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
these motherfuckers are ruthless.
And what was so annoying is that when listening to Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan, he was, the first hour and a half or something was just about that.
Yeah.
And also, they talked about Ray-Ban sunglasses that have a camera in them right now.
Oh, wow.
I just saw an ad for them the other day.
Wow.
And Joe was like, well, isn't that kind of like a privacy concern? Like, people could be filming people. And he's like, oh, well, there's a little light that blinks on and off.
Oh, my God.
While
dude.
filming. And Joe's like, huh, can you like put a piece of tape over that?
That's what Snowden would do.
And
Snowden
he
would
was
tape his
like,
shit up.
well, I guess in theory.
There was another moment where he was saying that, Joe, I mean, just think about it. You could have
just total salesman.
you could have your wife calling you on your Google glasses, right? Or your Meta glasses.
Yeah.
And you can respond to her by just a small gesture of
flick
your
of your-
hand,
yeah, like
without
finger.
having to disrupt or disengage from the conversation. And Joe goes, "Wouldn't that just be more disruptive?"
Yeah, it's like,
And now
really
you're
distracting.
pretending not to be distracted. And
this is pointless technology. That's what I mean.
See, he did get him there.
Yeah.
And here are the glasses, by the way. Cameras on each.
This is ridiculous, dude.
And I remember Mark said something like, well, you know, I know a lot about tech. Ray-Ban knows a lot about glasses. Why not just pair up with them? I'm like,
wow.
All right, just pair up with Ray. By the way, Ray-Ban was a fad.
They don't look that great.
They don't look that great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wayfarer was a fad. I get it. It was cool. I liked them at a point too. I'm not saying they're even totally bad today. I'm more about these, more about that Las
Classic
Vegas.
aviator.
Top
Gun
What is
steps.
the Las Vegas movie with Johnny Depp?
Fear
Hunter
and
S.
Loathing.
Fear and Loathing. That's what I like. Let's
How
see what-
about
I was trying to show the camera though.
I want to
Charging
this
case.
clip right here.
It's just wild, dude. It's just so unnecessary.
Oh, that.
Is
Well,
this?
that's something else. It's not
Eat
that.
so.
It's not
It's
this,
not-
but this
okay,
is
we'll go
also
to that.
one of.
I was like, what the fuck?
Which clip?
It's this Clinton one.
Oh,
right
the
here.
Clinton.
Together we can make America great again. And with your help, your heart, your devotion, and your efforts, we can build a community of hope that will inspire the world. God bless you, and thank you very much.
The point of me showing that is that sales pitches are reused.
Mhm.
Politicians reuse the same crap. And it's been known throughout history that Democrats and Republicans, they use their own speeches. Who did Michelle or somebody base a speech, an entire speech? Anyway, there's been entire speeches plagiarized.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? The point there is that they'll say whatever they need to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you remember Orange Guy saying "Make America Great Again"?
Mm-hmm.
And you and now, but MAGA is now the most hateful terrorist group in America.
Right.
And
according
everybody
to
loves
Byron.
Bill Clinton, or they did.
Yeah.
I
So-
feel like the bill for love Clinton. I feel like the love for Bill Clinton has gone down in the past couple of years because I do honestly think that
Well, he was
some
on
of
a
their, Right. He's on a list. Some of their doings are more public today than they were.
Yeah.
Because most people, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, would be saying,
that's the
"This is one
first
of-
black president right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Plays
that we had in the White
jazz.
House. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Like
Just
young-
because he gets his schlong, you know.
And that's like everybody's default argument when you start talking about conspiracy theories. They're like, the White House couldn't keep a blowjob in the White House. It's like, dude,
you're
shut
so
the
dumb.
fuck
Right,
up,
right.
dude.
Yeah, the White House fucking sold you a little story.
Exactly.
But watch this celebrity
James Franco?
meet stuff until
Oh,
this other one low.
James. Not James.
Franco's a weirdo.
I hear so many things about Franco,
Yeah, me
dude.
too.
It's terrible. Ooh, that music.
Stumbled upon some crazy shit
Oh.
this morning. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let you watch the screen recording,
almost
come back to
don't
the
wanna
comments, and tell me what you think, because this to me is wild. So I stumbled across this website this morning called bitelabs.org. So they're saying that they can take tissue and muscle from celebrities and mix it with
What the
animal meat and some other
fuck?
things and grow actual meats out of it in a lab. What they do, they say they take myosatellite cells obtained by biopsy. It can be found in adult muscle that repair and regrow damaged muscle. So they say the benefits are if you eat this meat from these healthy people, these healthy adults, it's going to help you get stronger. Your blood flow is going to be better. Your heart rate's going to be better. Your muscles will grow stronger. I personally would never eat human meat, but this is a 100% real website. You can check it out for yourself. Come back in the
Bite
comments. Let me know what you
Labs.
think.
All right, I'll check it out. Let's go on a little adventure. Scooby-Doo. Let's do some Scooby-Doo shit.
Wait. We have to go back to that for a second and read this.
Oh, I might eat some Jennifer
my bad.
Lawrence meat. I'm not even gonna lie.
Go to the website.
But back in the
We
comments,
will.
let me know what you think.
Hey, he's sexy. He's artsy. Let's make him salami. What is that?
Hey, you gotta admit,
Franco
that's
meat.
pretty good. Whoever they hire to do that is good.
Dude, this
He's
is
sexy.
crazy.
He's artsy. Let's make him salami.
This is crazy.
That's really loud.
This is just another way of idolizing superstars.
Idolizing superstars and also normalizing weird shit.
The Franco salami must be smoky, sexy, and smooth. Frankie's meat will pair with lean, strong venison.
Frankie's meat.
Sharp telecherry peppercorns and caramelized onions provide Franco's underlying flavors, complemented by a charming hint of lavender.
I wonder what their cut is from this.
Lavender. You don't put
Seriously,
lavender
the
in a
Franco
sausage.
salami's taste will be arrogant. Yeah, arrogant, distinctive, and completely
Undeniable.
undeniable. I was right when I got to that. I thought it said undesirable, and I was like, "Oh, is it a joke?" But no, it actually says undeniable.
Yeah, they got to be getting some sort of cut from this. Like,
So yeah, let's go there because what is it? Bitelabs.com.
it's like Franco, how much they paying you for that meat, bruh?
Oh, wait.
And send me 10
Like
jars
that,
of that Jennifer
okay, there.
Lawrence meat. I want 30 jars of J-Lo meat.
Bite Labs. Eat celebrity meat. Bite Labs grown meat from celebrity tissue samples and uses it to make artisanal salami.
Go to the contact.
That's gross, dude.
Go to the contact. What we got?
Famous and want your meat produced? Fascinated? Oh. We should email. You know what? Actually, I don't want to go into my email right now. Nah, I just wanted to see their email.
I mean, look, I don't even know if this is real. 2014, it says.
That's a good point. You know, it's important to make 100% sure.
Fuck, let's order a jar. Give me the Franco top shelf.
That's the question. Where do you order, or how do we prove? Let's actually go back. Let's just see.
I don't know. I don't even know. See, I mean, this is just.
We'll leave it open.
We'll leave it open, but
not saying it's 100% real. Not saying it's 100% fake.
Go back to the notion of the OK symbol. So go to the
original OK symbol.
Well, yeah. Pull up an article that says, just pull up any.
I want to find the original.
So that's supposed to be white power, right?
Right.
This is white power. Now go to the Telegram. I just sent you a video.
I never knew that. Well, I've never seen that. I've never heard it that way.
But when you do the OK symbol, or when you do the game symbol, it's always downward.
Yeah.
And in that picture that was really famous of those country guys doing it, it was all down on their thigh. So this is even a little bit different.
But then what do you call this?
Right.
And put this on like fast speed. Can you do it?
They're trying to spin what it actually is, dude.
Why can't we do it?
Well, is it just the whole 9 minutes?
Yeah.
Right. And so tell the people what this is allegedly supposed to be.
What is this? What is Hayao Miyazaki doing right there?
666, man.
What is little fucking lesbian boy Bieber doing?
Isn't that gesture in the Freemason like fucking hand guide? Isn't that?
I don't know. We gotta check it. Duncan's illustrated book of masonry. But yeah, it's just like, if that's the white power symbol, why is Beyonce doing it?
Yeah, that don't make any sense.
You know, and what is it? It could be multiple things. It could be, it could be Hollywood.
Miley Cyrus had an eye tattooed on her finger, actually, and they showed that, not her doing the symbol. Tila tequila.
It goes on and on and on and on and on, and so you get the point.
Shout outs.
Kelly Poon, that's not a good name.
Janelle Monáe. Now, of course, we reserve the right to say that not all of these are 100% accurate, but the big ones, for sure, it's like, again, like you said, if it's a white power symbol, why are you doing that? And why, or at least you haven't come back out and spoke about it saying, I did that for fun.
Beyonce's going through what Dave Chappelle's character was going through, apparently. They don't know that they're black.
I also think that reminded me of the thing that I wanted to talk about. The fact that Beyonce and Lizzo have both had to edit a song after releasing it because they used the word spaz in it.
Whoa. Wait, what's the deal with the word spaz?
It's ableist, meaning it's not nice for disabled people. Wow. And did you ever associate the word spaz with somebody who's disabled mentally or physically?
Nope. Even now, after you told me that, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
sorry,
what?
spaz?
We would just say that as like
Somebody went crazy or something.
Also, we wouldn't really say that
don't
too
feel
much. Maybe when I was really young, said spaz out. And that just meant you were being nuts.
Exactly.
Something like that. Never any sort of notion that it was paired with a handicapped person.
Where did that come from? How's that?
And so Lizzo used this in one of her recent songs that she released, and they came and said, this is ableist. And she came out and said, okay, I'm going to change the lyric. A couple months later, Beyonce came out with a song that also used the word spaz. And I'm like, this word is so not even part of what you would think that they would use.
Yeah.
Spaz doesn't even fit that vibe of music writing. And so Beyonce said it, and they said, oh, it's ableist, you got to do it. And I'm like, what are the chances of two of the largest female vocal artists right now using this very obscure word and associating it with something that the majority of people do not associate it with?
That is crazy.
In terms of game theory, I know 100% what it is. It's just publicity stunts for their music. They're like, what can we think of that's really stupid and would get a lot of shares on Twitter, and it can be real dumb. Like, oh, spaz.
You're right.
Just talk about spaz.
I'm sure it's their PR teams, like just thinking of shit. Yeah.
And I keep talking to Chad about, I'll say this right now. You know, I keep talking to Chad what we could do in that light to really boost the Houston Ensemble, because there's also all kinds of gimmicky, dramatic things that I'm aware of through my analysis that would definitely work.
Mm-hmm.
But we got standards.
Let's
For
real
sure.
quick
That's the problem.
see what ABC News might say about Beyonce receiving backlash for lyric.
These people have no standards. This is a fake story. Okay, let's watch.
I'm just curious.
Beyonce says she will remove the lyric "spaz" from her hit new album.
Okay,
Renaissance
Maleficent
after being called
Devil
out by
Horns.
listeners that said it's considered derogatory in the disability community. Now, this comes just weeks after Lizzo faced backlash for using that word in one of her songs and then changed that same lyric.
boy, who
ABC's
cares?
Kana Whitworth has the latest.
The 28-time Grammy winner
Hot.
catching flack for what some are calling an offensive lyric in one of her new songs. In the song,
Doesn't even look real.
Beyonce
On the
uses
white horse.
spaz, which can be
Yeah.
a shorthand term for the medical condition spasticity.
Spasticity?
Abnormal increase in muscle tone or stiffness, which may interfere with movement and speech. Spasticity can also be associated with discomfort or pain. The condition is usually caused by damage to nerve pathways in the brain or spinal cord
What
that
the
control
fuck?
muscle movement.
Oh.
Using the word spaz to describe someone who's just a little bit out of control in an emotional sense sort of makes light of someone's
You're kind of cute.
I don't think they're thinking it that deep at all.
I like your eyes. Okay,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
Dude,
You have great eyes.
Oh my
okay?
gosh.
Stop it.
that's insane, dude.
Let me just see real quick if I can find.
I love the
where-
curls. Now stop.
Of course, it's removed from lyrics. Genius.
They're setting a precedent for censorship.
Mm-hmm.
They have no scruples. They don't care how anything affects culture. They want to get.
All right. Here we go. I found it on AZ Lyrics. I'll just read like a stanza. Liberated, living like we ain't got time. Yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. Yada, 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 yada.
Wow.
Boom, boom, cock, spazzing on that ass. Spaz on that ass. Fan me quick, girl. I need my glass.
She literally said boom, boom,
I put
caca.
grease on her thighs.
When you are, dude, listen, yaya is okay. Even boom, boom is okay. Yada, yada is okay. But when you start saying caca,
It says flip flop, flippity flippin' flop ass bitch. I'm like, yo, you wrote this down right before you went in the booth? Like, there's no way. Wow.
Yada yada yada. Spazzing on that ass.
Cuff me, please, because this ain't fair. Drip in my pearls like Coco Chanel. What the fuck?
I would want to play a second of it, but that's probably super copyrighted.
okay, so
On my MPC making disco trap, Uncle Johnny made my dress. That cheap spandex, she looks a mess. Ha ha.
Wow.
So let me play devil's advocate. So what's wrong with this song? It's just a fun song, you know. The kids can sing it, and
We didn't say anything was wrong with that.
okay. So there's nothing wrong with it. That's fine.
I think it's hilarious.
It's
great, right?
It's out there.
I feel dumb reading it.
Yeah. I guess it's a matter of. I mean, let's be real though. Do people really like this?
I haven't heard the original song. I'm sure it's just got like a fat, overly catchy thing. I mean, if you're saying like yada 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 yada, anybody can get along with that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can make a whole song. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being dumb.
That's a great idea. Write purposefully stupid music.
Yeah,
Gotta blow up.
like
Just go
disgustingly
hard.
catchy.
Yeah.
That's all.
Because I feel like you can kind of tell when something sounds like that, and there is a threshold between something that's just too weird, you can't really grasp it mentally, and then something like very ultra simple catchy, and then you kind of want to maybe ride this threshold in the middle where it's unique but also memorable. Or at least try to. That's kind of hard to do. Only a real man can tame me. Only the radio could play me. Only my baby. Okay.
That's
got a
good.
lot of Band-Aids. Got a lot of Chanel on me. I gotta fan myself off. I gotta fan myself off. I gotta cool down. Heated, fanning me off like hot. Oh, you already read that.
She plugging that Chanel, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm trying to get at. What is wrong with this music?
Oh man,
It's
when
not
starts
music
having
anymore.
advertisements.
No, yeah, straight
That's my whole
advertisement,
point.
dude.
You're like, you're trying to be like, yeah, yada yada. It's all good. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, the reason she didn't write anything there is because it was all about the product placement, dude.
Real talk,
She doesn't need lyrics there. She needs some bullshit
Mm-hmm.
to get the plays, dog. That's what's wrong.
I feel like but to come back to the original point of this, I feel like the way in which they use spazzing on that ass. Firstly, when have you ever heard any? Have you ever heard a black person say spazzing on that ass?
I'm about to spaz on that ass tonight, girl.
It's like maybe nerdy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't come off
Just
right.
imagine for a second that we wrote a song specifically to, plug the address, the club, or some club in Houston, right?
Mhm.
Imagine that's what it boiled down to, that we were just writing songs to make corporations happy. Can you see yourself writing like that? Can you see yourself writing music for that reason?
That'd be tough.
That would be tough.
No, I mean, no, but I'm saying if I was, it would be difficult and not fun.
But that's your whole life.
Emotionally
That's
difficult.
your whole life.
Emotionally difficult. Oh, it'd be terrible. Because then you'd have no creative whatsoever. You'd have this creative process of figuring out how to make a song while making it an ad.
Yeah.
But then you would be missing this whole organic.
Would
part
you
of the
have
creative
Bob
process.
Dylan? Would you have Jimi Hendrix? I'm assuming for a second these were good artists. Would you have real art if it was all controlled and corporatized, Chad?
No.
It's crazy because there's this song by Nerd just called Spaz. And now I'm looking for it on Spotify and I cannot find it. It's like, damn,
Whoa.
did they take that down too? I did a drum cover of that song on Instagram and I wrote Spaz. It's like, I wonder if they took it down. That's crazy, dude. This song is not up anymore. And it was like, they're in their top 5 played songs. Wow.
That's interesting. I was just also wondering if that sound was from that microphone or that phone.
It's probably my phone.
See what happens.
If
that's from the phone, that's insane.
That's crazy.
What does that even mean?
It means that
They're listening.
We're getting EMF interference constantly. That's
We
what it
got
is.
multiple
There's
spins
a
on
lot
this.
going on in here. This is like a radioactive chamber.
It is.
Right.
Like,
Now you mentioned Oprah talking about satanic rituals. I did
Mhm.
send you that video. It's from.
is it send?
I would
Oh, you already
love to
sent
watch
it.
that.
This one?
My next guest was used also in worshiping the devil, participated in human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism.
Whoa.
She says her family has been involved in rituals for generations. She is currently in extensive therapy, suffers from multiple personality disorder, meaning she's blocked out many of the terrifying and painful memories of her childhood. Meet Rachel, who is also in disguise to protect her identity. You come from generations of ritualistic abuse?
Yes, my family has an extensive family tree, and they keep track of who's been involved and who hasn't been involved. And it's gone back to like 1700.
And so you were...
Right. I was born into a family that believes in this.
And does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside, you appear to be a nice Jewish girl?
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family.
Really? And so who knows about it? Lots of people now.
I talked to a police detective in the Chicago area, and several of my friends know, and I've spoke publicly before.
And so when you were brought up in this kind of evilness, did you just think it was normal?
I've blocked out a lot of the memories I had because of my multiple personality disorder. But yes, I mean, it's like if you grow up with something, you think it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought
So what kinds of things? You don't have to give us the gory details, but what kinds of things went on in the family?
Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to, you know...
Whose babies?
There were people who bred babies in our family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight, so you couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not, or they would supposedly
That's all I
go
know, that
away
shit's
for a
real,
while
dude.
and then come back. The other thing I want to point out, not all Jewish people sacrifice babies. I mean,
no.
It's not a very
we kind of know
thing.
that.
I just want to point that out.
This is the first time I heard of any Jewish people sacrificing babies. But anyway, so yeah, you witnessed the sacrifice.
Right. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
Uh-huh.
Immortality.
Power. And so, were you ever used? Were you ever used yourself?
I was molested. I was raped several times.
Mm-hmm. And what's your mother doing?
She's
in all of this. What's her role in all of this?
I'm not exactly what her role is. I haven't, recovered all of my memories, but her family was extremely involved.
Mm-hmm.
She brought me to it. Both of my parents brought me to it.
And where is she now?
She lives in the Chicago metropolitan area. She's on the Human Relations Commission of the town that she lives in, and she's an upstanding citizen.
What?
Nobody would suspect her.
Were you raised with a sense of right and wrong, Rachel?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I had both. I mean, to the outside world, everything we did was proper and right, and then there were the nights that things changed, that things just got turned around. What was wrong was right, and what was right was wrong. That's what helps to create somebody to develop MPD.
Mm-hmm. Multiple personality.
Right.
Now, in your family, did you all call it worshiping the devil?
No,
Rachel? Or
I don't know.
It was just evil, these things you did.
Right. Well, I said it was evil, and they said it was good. There's a book that I had just come across called Lilith's Cave, which is a book of Jewish mysticism and supernatural, and there's a lot in that book that relates to what I endured when I was a child.
I remember her saying Jews so much.
Yeah, really.
I wonder if that whole episode is up somewhere, or is that like all of that's up? And it looks like, I bet somebody loaded that shit up, dude.
Dude, you would be.
It also is on like a VCR like recording type thing.
Like, I'm scared to post that with the video on like that because there ain't nobody talking about that right now.
Oh, dude. That's why when I first saw that, I was like, this shit was on Oprah?
Yeah, dude. Now, I've heard many testimonies like that, and not many of them say that they were specifically this sect or that sect religious.
Mm-hmm.
What they all did say, however, it's not sure.
It is on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because there's that 60 Minutes clip, too, where
and this is many years old. This is 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's
only 6 years old?
We're almost on the date of it that it was posted, this one.
Oh, wow. This isn't as old as I thought. I thought this was like back in the 90s or like early 80s. Damn, that's not that old, dude.
Wow. I mean, what do you say to that? What do you say to that if you're a person? It seems like there's this kind of person, the same type of person we were talking about earlier, who would immediately attack Project Veritas, like an undercover video like that. It seems like if you showed them this video, they would also just immediately get on the defensive. Doesn't it feel like that a little bit?
Yeah, she made up that story. She just came on television to sell something, whatever.
I guess I'm tripping at how they allowed it on Oprah, dude. It's like, that's crazy to me. It's like,
it is weird that they allowed it on Oprah.
But then it goes to that whole thing where it's like,
even if they made up that story, though, why would they make up that story? Because think about how cancelable that statement is.
Mm-hmm. But remember, we were talking about how they dance around the truth, sort of thing. They give you like little pieces here and there, so you don't really get the full story. So like, I could see it being one of those things too. It's like let's put it out there, let's sprinkle out there a little bit, so they like slowly.
Well, look, there are other
accept
banned books. I was talking about banned books. There's other banned books that are literally talking about every single royal bloodline that does satanic rituals in depth, like how they do it, where they do it, what the females do, what the younger females do, what the younger males do, what the older gentlemen do, what the father does, and that it's a lineage, and that's all about trauma-based mind control, and it's all about inverting your reality, and then they make you forget certain things, and only in adulthood, when you're faced with a similar situation or someone asks you about that, your brain goes back because it's an emotional trigger, and it wakes up the memory. So when she's talking about I've blocked those things out, is because she literally blocked them out and is hoping she never has to face it again.
Yeah.
Right. And I could see, I could see how something of that nature would cause multiple personality disorder, where you have to simply split off.
Well, look at all the kids today that they have, they have identity crises, right? How did that happen? It's because they don't know which one is up and down. They don't know what is real or what is wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
So then they're like, well, in that case,
and they're also told that this is commonplace.
Keep talking.
And I don't think that it necessarily is commonplace, and it certainly wasn't commonplace. I think with all the added stuff and all the added information and all the added unknowns, that it's so much harder. It's harder for everybody to know something, but then it's also, like you were saying earlier, a complete imbalance, which makes there to be more unknowns.
Oh, yeah.
Which can destabilize a person. But then also you have people, because there's one stabilizing mechanism in our culture or around the world, when you tell something, they're so stabilized in that prescribed notion. But then when you bring something up, like what we were talking about before we started the podcast with the documentaries that we were watching, if you tell them that stuff, they'll be like, no, that's not how it happened, because it destabilizes their reality so much that up is down, down is up.
It's fear, dude. They're afraid.
This one?
No.
Oh.
Go up.
Fear-driven.
MMA guy.
Oh, MMA guy.
That guy.
So all those doubting my NFT, you're looking at the guy. That's the reason that college athletes and high school athletes are getting paid today. Mr. Influencer to influencers. Secondly, Jimmy Kimmel, viral this. I fight to eradicate childhood malnutrition from the planet. And until they release the flight logs, you, the mainstream media, Hollywood, are all pedophiles to me. Eat dick. MICanceledYet.com.
So why is that important? Well, obviously he's plugging his NFT. He's trying to make money, and he knows that if he says that, it'll go viral. And it did. But he also got canceled. He also got a lot of censorship too. So he knew what he was doing. It was a calculated risk. I mean, he's a fighter. He's not going to say or do anything that's not calculated.
Yeah.
You have to understand these people's brains. But there's another thing, is that he has courage.
Yeah.
People lack courage, which is why they deny things that happen. Like, you can literally, because you're in fear, you can walk over a dying body.
Yep.
You can just be like, not today.
Yep.
And that's fear. And that's what we're doing as a society. And he's giving people inspiration, because you look at the guy and he's on live television and people look up to him, okay? And he's saying this stuff. No one would even dare. But now they see that it's possible.
Yep.
And so we need guys like that are a little bit crazy, but will say the thing.
He's got the courage to wear that leather strap on.
Yeah. We're all in the standby effect, dude. And that's like a basic
psychological
thing.
Even still today, when there's like a major accident, something happens, a lot of people or something, I think a better example of what I'm saying is something happened on the side of the road, or there's a person, or there's like a person just flayed out on the ground by the gas station. most people also just walk past that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And
that's
I mean,
literally a
I've
standby
walked
effect,
past
yeah.
it too. There have been a couple times where I feel like I think I've done it more than not. It's not like I've walked past a bunch of totally flayed out bodies.
Mm-hmm.
There have been maybe twice. And I think both times I was so stunned by it, I actually went close to them, just checked, like, are they breathing or not?
Mm-hmm.
I thought this one dude had been shot while I was on a run because he was so like that. And there was like pink stuff on the side of him.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, is that guts? And I was so nervous. And this was Saturday morning, 9 a.m. around Jack in the Box on Wheeler Avenue in 3rd Ward by the old Sears building that has since turned into Greentown Labs, which is a really weird building. Anyway, I went up to him because I thought maybe he was dead and everybody was passing by him. And he was alive. He was breathing, and then he scratched himself. But he had not the whole other time I was looking at him. And I was like, golly.
It was just starburst.
My psychology teacher told us a story in class, and it was about the standby effect, where this woman's getting raped in an alley in New York. And I feel like the whole process took like 5-10 minutes or so, and the guy started stabbing the woman to death. Meanwhile, people are looking out the windows. You know, she's literally in the middle of in the middle of New York and fucking, I think it was like Brooklyn or something like that, in an alleyway. So people are looking at the windows. They're hearing this whole situation.
Yeah.
The killer walks away. I think he comes back like 30 minutes later. The lady's still sitting there screaming, bleeding. Nobody has helped her yet. And then continues to stab her again and leaves.
Shit.
Yeah, nobody did any. I think the whole altercation took like 45 minutes to an hour, and nobody did anything. But that's basically what you're talking about. It's
Oh,
like,
God.
oh yeah, just nobody
That's
else
frightening.
is helping. So
and I
like,
bet
I'm not
that
gonna
happens more frequently than we know.
Exactly.
Because the
so
chances
much
of-
You know what that's
that they've
called?
created a term for it.
That's called
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
called just totally consciously asleep.
Mhm.
You're just totally asleep.
Or just being a biatch, dude.
Yeah.
It's more than that, dude. I think that it's even more than that. I don't even see like I don't know.
There's
I
no
don't
way
know.
I would stand by for that, dude. There's no way. No.
There's just more than that.
And at least if you're by yourself, maybe immediately try and grab another person and be like, let's go get this guy if you're worried about being
You can't
stabbed.
call the police from your high tower.
Yeah, it's like, dude.
Oh, yeah, also call the
something,
police.
shit.
But also, who knows about the police response time in somewhere like Brooklyn, New York.
For sure.
Fucking at least 10-15 minutes they could do it.
It's crazy, dude.
Oh, I heard this really good joke today on Kill Tony where this guy was actually sucking. He was doing bad. And they're like, so, Ryan, what do you do for a living? And he's like, lucked out. And they're like, what? And he's like, I got T-boned by a cop in an intersection. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, the cop T-boned me because he was trying to speed through a red light, so I got a settlement.
Wow.
And he's like, I've done more to defund the police than any marching pride group ever.
That was pretty funny.
And they all were like, oh, very clever.
There you go.
He got like 100 some odd thousand.
Wow.
Because the police car was just trying to blow a red light. Lights were not on. And then as he hit the back of the guy's car in the intersection, it turned the lights on immediately.
Wow. He did luck out.
And they're like, no, you definitely just hit this guy
That's crazy.
illegally. I mean, that would be bad. I'm always worried about running into a cop car. Not that that comes close often, but that would suck.
That would suck.
Because they get so mad. It's like it's much more grave than running into another car. Like if you run into a
Yeah.
cop car, you're like, oh, you are for sure messed up.
Right. They're just like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But in reality, maybe not. It's not true. Cops like to blow through lights all the time. As I was talking about the other day. You know, just driving behind me. I'm going grandma speed. Be like, nothing going on here. And then boom, they put the lights on and speed around me.
In
My greatest
summary,
fear.
guys, what do y'all think?
I think this was a great episode with a lot of stuff that if anybody watches it, they're going to be like, oh, geez.
Yeah. It's like,
And if you're not saying, oh, geez, then whatever.
you ain't paying attention.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Klaus Schwab.
That's all I'm asking.
Klaus Schwab, Yuval, Noah Harari. Look those up. Know what we're facing. Everything that's going on. The incoming rhetoric of the climate doing this and that.
The Great Reset.
The incoming rhetoric of, getting your boosters twice a year. The incoming rhetoric of going off oil. And all these things are planned out. They're called a planned collapse scenario, Build Back Better. They planned it out. They're talking about it on conferences, on television. That's what's going on. It's not, Orange Man's not doing it. Dementia Man's not doing it. It's bigger than both of those. Those are two clowns that you have invested all your energy into.
Mm-hmm.
Chat, what you got to say?
That's it. I'm into it.
All right.
This has been Willie McCullen. Willie, thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Ready Room, Friday, Saturday nights, 9 to 12. For anybody who gets this far.